The Bureau of Labor and Statistics reports that in 2020, the unemployment rate for individuals with disabilities stood at 12.6%, which is an increase of 5.3 percentage points over the previous year. And McDougall says that it's important that companies and organizations reflect the marketplace they're intending to serve, and that infusing individuals with disabilities into the workforce can only be viewed as a net positive and a competitive advantage.
Well, I think that it's important for the organization to reflect the marketplace that they're selling into. And it's important to be able to understand the different perspectives that people have. And I think that it's been, you know, we've spent way too long with people that are making assumptions that their experience is the same as the experience of other people. And so what ends up happening is that the messaging, the development of products, the types of people that are hired, like there's assumptions made about, maybe people's abilities or what people want, that they're never checking with the actual people or people that are like the people that they want to sell to say, what is it that you need? And, I think it's really important to check in and to find out, like, what is it that people need? What would work there? When we don't do that, we're missing out on opportunities. And so I think that hiring people with disabilities or anybody who maybe is different than what the typical has been. I think that it's important for organizations to look within themselves and say, are we reflecting the marketplace that we're trying to sell into?
It's absolutely critical to me, because I don't even see, to me, disabilities. I see that people have amazing abilities. And it's just, some of the most amazing people I meet, they may be tagged as they have a disability, but I don't see that. We all have our gift to give. Every single one of us has a gift to share. And so that's where it comes down to, again, why wouldn't we include everybody? That's a lot of struggles in the world come from people's perspective. And from the work I do, Kevin, I do understand that a lot of the programming or differences come from what we learned as children. And it's generational. It's beliefs that have been passed from generation to generation. And a lot of it comes from lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. And I look at it as, it doesn't matter your background, and your belief system. You can choose to make a difference by learning, educating yourself. See, because again, I came from a group or a way of thinking that, there's a lot of disabilities and a lot of people can't do anything. And I could have chose to keep believing that, or I could have chose to educate myself and say, what's the gifts that everybody has? And that's what I focus on now. So, and I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't view people with having disabilities. I look for the gifts that are within them, knowing that you wouldn't be on this planet if you didn't have a gift to give.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
how can we share that?
Yeah, absolutely. Inclusion comes in all different shapes and sizes. Before I did this podcast, Robert, I used to work for a project here in Windsor and Essex called the Discoverability Network, which was the province of Ontario. It's their new online job matching portal for individuals with disabilities and employers to get connected. And when I was the ambassador, one thing that I told employers was, sometimes you have to make the job work for, or the person work for the job instead of the job working for the disability. And what I meant by that is, it's another avenue of innovation for businesses to get a competitive advantage as well.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. And so it sounds like you've got that, and you're not even sure if you're inspiring people and making an impact, dude, you are, because that is amazing, just that way of thinking about it. And that, because you've experienced it, that's what you're coming from is, and that's knowledge that you have that you can make an impact with that I don't have. And so that's an example of having that. I love that you said discovering ability, because that's it. That's exactly it.
Absolutely. Just keep in mind that the more diversity, and no matter which way you define diversity, the more diversity means more ideas. More ideas means the better ideas are going to start trickling down. It all starts at the top of the funnel, right? Which is breadth of ideas. And that might be the way a business is run, the type of business, the product, the offering, whatever it might be. The more diversity that you have in your life in general, no matter who you are, the more you put yourself out there, the more you open your mind to different ideas, different possibilities, different ways of life, etc., the more ideas that there will be, and the more seeds that you plant, the more of those will actually grow into great things. So diversity, no matter how you define it, is important in any business. And the more that you can incorporate in, the better off you'll be across the board.
Yeah, I gave a speech yesterday at Kids on the Go camp, which is a basketball camp hosted by my friends Christy and Anthony Iani, and it's for kids with disabilities. And it's amazing what some of these kids accomplish at that camp and in their lives. And I think it's so important not to set limits on anyone, whether that's somebody that has a disability or somebody that is Black or a woman, or, you know, however they identify. Diversity is important because you can only see the world through your own lens. And without leaning on the experiences and the knowledge that other people have to offer, you're going to miss things. You need diverse perspectives, and diverse companies and organizations are proven to thrive because of that. And it's an important thing in this world to have diversity, for not just to do the right thing. I mean, there's both sides of it, right? You can make the case like, hey, it's because it's the right thing to do, which it is, but it's also makes the world better. It makes the world better. It makes products better. It makes experiences better. It makes countries better by having more inclusive organizations. And it's so important. And you can see now organizations that have embraced this fact are beginning to set the standard for what our world will look like in the future.